Hey guys, welcome to video 2 from Hungry to Learn for hungrytolearn.com. I'm Birga. This has been a long, difficult week for me. I've been battling a head cold. I've been super congested, which makes radio work very difficult. I've been fatigued, and I've just been super emotional, just to be very candid. It's been trying. It's been trying, but today was a good lesson learning day, and staying true to the format of what I want this to be, a place to share lessons, to share ideas, to be kind of candid and vulnerable. I thought today was probably a good day to shoot a video. I'm kind of feeling uh, not as put together as I might like to be, but you know what? Sometimes raw and real is a whole lot better than polished and professional if I'm trying to get a message across. So here's a couple things that I wanted to talk about today. First off, I do remember it's been, gosh, probably over a year ago that I wrote a piece entitled Willing Chauffeur. And that was after a season of learning when a dear, dear friend came to town and was the musical guest at a fundraising banquet. My friend Carlene Prince, she's a phenomenal singer-songwriter and performer. I sincerely would label her as a psalmist. She's somebody who, just as she performs her music, I imagine that piece that's talked about when Saul is in the state of agitation and asks for King, or who's going to be King David, to come in and play the harp and to sing for him. And it talks about him finding a peace and a comfort in that. I sincerely believe that Carlene is gifted in that very same capacity. But anyway, she was in town, and my role was to drive her around. And she's a friend, and I loved getting to hang out in the car and talk with her on shuttling back and forth between neighboring communities. And anyway, there's something, though, to be said about when you're driving around somebody of note, somebody who is the keynote or the guest speaker for a particular event. In acting as a chauffeur, I had some lessons to learn there, that I was absolutely a willing chauffeur, but there's a humbling circumstance that you have to be willing to put yourself into as you allow somebody or you equip somebody else to shine in the spotlight. And I found myself much in that same role this week at the radio station. Yes, I have my own radio program. However, I know it's not as well listened to as the Morning Invasion, which is hosted by Dex, Stevo, and Teo. And that's okay, because God's got them where He's got them for a very specific reason and to reach a very specific audience. And this morning, as I was listening to them, as I was driving into work, I literally was in tears in the car, and I came in once I got into the building, and I tearfully gave them all a big hug and just let them know how proud I was. And I meant that as a genuine, sincere statement. And my attitude was pretty stinky this week. I admit it. I absolutely admit it. But I told them, I said, if my sole role here is to serve as a support and a cheerleader and let's say a chauffeur for them to do their show, then I want to do that with grace and with gladness, with joy in my heart, because the ministry that has happened over the course of this last week has been phenomenal. There's been a lot of different subject matter that's been covered, but specifically on Wednesday, Amora Sierra was the guest that came into the studio. If you've not heard of her, she has an amazing testimony. She owns a tattoo shop in Miami. I will put up links and stuff underneath this video for you to check both the podcast for the Morning Invasion for when she was on, but also for Amor at the tattoo shop in Miami. But powerful testimony that took place. And that was their show. And I'm so pleased to be able to promote their show, because I know that there's people that will see this that need the ministry that happened in their show, not in my show, in their show. So I want to be a cheerleader for them, and I want to serve in that capacity, and I want to do it willingly and joyfully. One of the other aspects about this job that's very interesting is that there's a song that becomes maybe an anthem. And for me, it's been, over the course of this last year, a song by Copper Lily. I didn't even know the band before I started working at this radio station, but it is a husband and wife duo that they sing and they perform together. And there's a song that we play by them called Shadows Glow. And I know that I've spoken on my portion of the radio program before, my appreciation for their candor and their honesty in what they have written in that song. But as a husband and wife who both have their own personal musical careers, and then when they came together to form Copper Lily, and they wrote and performed this song together, again called Shadows Glow, they're talking about the concept of allowing one member to rise into the spotlight and the other person to feel satisfied and gratified in the shadow, knowing that the spouse that's in the spotlight is going to cause the shadow to glow. And I thought it was such a beautiful picture. Kind of, I hope it says a little bit of what we're doing on the radio. I hope that what the boys are doing in the morning, and as I support them and encourage them and hopefully challenge them to up their game, share through social media, share through whatever it is that I'm doing here on the back end, I hope that as they're in the spotlight, they cause my shadow to glow. And I'm not doing it for that reason, but I think it's a natural byproduct. So that was one of the lessons I was just reminded of this morning. So it's kind of a tie into being that willing chauffeur, being in the shadows, but having the effect of the popularity or the prominence of somebody who you willingly, joyfully support rub off on you in a positive way. So I was also thinking about, just, let's take news anchors for an example. You know, they're the ones in front of the camera. What you don't see is you don't see the floor manager, you don't see the crew behind the scenes. But obviously, the news anchor can't do the job without this whole host of people working behind them. And the news anchors receive the I don't know, the popularity vote. They are recognizable out in public, but you never know who's running the cameras, who's running the teleprompter, who's floor managing, all that kind of stuff. But if the news anchor is doing their job right and doing it well, and I will say from the Christian perspective, doing it as unto the Lord, like doing an awesome God-filled job, by default, all of those people that work in that newsroom are going to be blessed because of the success and because of the professionalism and because of the, I don't know, just the quality of what is being produced. Because naturally, it's going to increase the audience, it's going to get good reviews, it's going to get noticed by the public, and it makes it a pleasant workplace. It makes it a great place to work. But it also, it's this relationship that I think we all need to be aware of, whether you're a person in the spotlight or whether you're a person backstage, behind the scenes, that it's got to be both of us working with a good heart and a good motivation to support the other one. And when we do that, it makes the whole entity so successful and makes it so much better. Just the quality is so much increased. And so forgive me if I'm rambling a little bit. I am going to use my head cold as an excuse. I know that I'm not thinking as clearly and operating as smoothly as I'd like to be. But bottom line is, my lesson today, my big refresher today was, I can joyfully, I can gleefully serve off to the side, serve in the background, supporting the person or people that are the keynote speakers, that are the, you know, the popular show. I can do that, help them succeed, and in return, I can glean from them. I can be in that shadows glow area. So all that to say, I certainly hope that if you are somebody in the workforce or just in life, you're a spouse, you're a parent, and you are championing somebody else, trying to get them noticed, trying to get them secure or help them with a project, whatever it is, that when your heart is to bless them and to ensure their success, I sincerely believe that by default you will be blessed by that. But it's all a question of our heart's motive. And if we do it begrudgingly and we are support staff because we have to, or because nothing better has come our way, it's going to be really hard to experience the blessing in doing the work to support those people. So a little long-winded, I apologize, but I hope that's something that maybe ministers to you in some small way as it did to me today. So have an excellent rest of your day.